somehow or another unacceptable and threatening to their perceptions of what you should be doing with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, this is very unrelated to the whole, but it's not. It's when it comes to gender, I think there's just this thing that people want things to be more easily explained than they are.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. Because it takes a lot of work to actually go. So people who say that gender is a social construct.
That's a good one.
Sounds very nice.
I love saying that.
It's not.
Start saying that.
It's
for no
not
reason
true,
at all.
but it's infuriating because it's everywhere now. Like this is what children are being taught in school. Up in Canada, that's what they're being taught in their curriculum, and there's absolutely no truth to it at all. But if you read the scientific studies, you cannot come away from them saying gender is a social construct. There's absolutely
What's the argument for it? Like if you were arguing for it,
that I guess the idea is that women should be equal, and obviously as a woman, I believe that. And so any sort of subjugation of women must somehow be imposed by society. Because if we acknowledge that women are different biologically in any way, that's going to be used as justification why they don't deserve to be treated the same as men, or they're not as capable as men.
But why is different subjugation, and why is different incapable, and why is different inferior?
Well, I guess because there has been a history of there being sexism, and say so with the whole Google memo thing, and this idea that women are biologically, we are different. Not to say we're not as capable, but if there are any sort of biological correlates to what women find interesting, could that be extrapolated to capability, extrapolated to women should go back to the kitchen, women aren't good at math, things like that. I mean, I get why people don't like biological explanations for things. I think, like you said, I think it's just a lot easier. It's a lazy way to just dismiss the whole thing and say, we don't need to think about it. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, nothing to see here. But it's clearly not true in terms of the scientific research. So there has to be some cognitive dissonance in order to accept that and to preach it and to say it, and everybody has to agree upon it, which is one of the reasons why I think any statements contrary to that get aggressively attacked. And this is part of the reason why these ideas are so supercharged. It's that there's an understanding that it's horseshit. And so when someone challenges it and says it's horseshit, you've been living your whole life with this horseshit. It's almost like a religious thing.
Yeah. Well, okay, I think some people know what the truth is and they actively lie because they think they're doing something good for women. So they'll say gender is a social construct even though they know it's biological. And I think people who are younger, maybe going through school now, who are being taught this, actually don't know the difference and actually believe it.
But why would they aggressively attack the scientific research that's contrary to that claim then?
You mean the people who don't know any better?
Yeah.
Who they actually believe that gender is a social construct and these scientists are just sexist and misogynistic and
Right,
want to keep women down.
But I can get that if you didn't research it, if you didn't look into it. But once you start looking into it, you go, oh, well, this is weird. Like there's clearly... Do
you think people actually look into it, though? I don't think they do. The sense I get is they find someone or some journalist who has some sort of decent-sounding criticism of the literature, and they just parrot that. I don't think they actually go and look at the studies.
Well, I think there's definitely something to that. And I think there's something to this problem that human beings have where they have an idea, and that idea becomes a part of their identity.
Yeah.
And then they start arguing for that idea, and any argument against that idea is an argument against them as a person.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to win.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily looking at things in an objective way where they're detached from the idea and studying it as a thing. Instead, they're arguing to try to win. And I think that is a giant problem with ideas.
Yeah, because they're invested in it.
Yes. And it becomes even more of a problem when it gets tribal, when these ideas are attached, like climate change, clearly attached in denial to the right, in support to the left. It's this very strange tribal thing. And that also happens with gender. And it also, like, if you are in support of women's rights and you are in support of trans rights and LGBTQ and all that jazz, you're almost 100% going to be on the left. It's just one of those tribal things. If you're pro-choice, you're almost always going to be on the left. If you're not, you find yourself in that which one was it? Was it Tammy Lauren? I get her confused with that Lauren Southern girl.
Oh, Tommy Lauren.
Those girls are interchangeable in some strange way. Those the hot Republicans.
Tommy Lauren, yeah.
Tommy Lauren.
She's pro-choice.
Right. She got attacked.
Yeah.
Can't be.
Yeah.
Can't be. You want to be on this team. You want to be on the mean white girl team. You can't be pro-choice. You gotta be pro-life.
Yeah.
What about life? What about the babies?
Yeah.
Support the baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like some ideas get locked into ideologies. They get locked into these tribal ideologies. And gender is most certainly one of those.
Well, because people don't want to be without a political home.
Right. That's a very good way of putting it.
Because if you do say someone like Tommy, who's...
Why do I call her Tammy? Because I'm an asshole?
There she is.
Oh, was she in trouble? Tommy Lauren will star in pro-life film after the Blaze fired her for being pro-choice. What?
So if you're a pro-choice conservative or if you're a pro-biology liberal, you know, you kind of find yourself in a weird in-between.
So she's just fucking going the other way? She's going the other way? She's going to star in a film? What's a pro-life film? It's like an ABC after-school special? Don't have an abortion. Have your baby. Yeah. It's weird. Well, she's got to get her ground back. She got kicked off the team a little bit.
It's a biopic on the Roe vs. Wade case starring Stacey Dash.
Oh.
So
maybe she's playing a bad person in that movie.
That just made it even more interesting.
Strange. I wonder how many of those things are just distractions. You know, it's so weird. People are so weird with their tribal identities. You know, I just, and I love when they go back and forth and shift from one side to the other. I'd love it when like, wow, I'm former conservative, seen the light, or you know, I used to be a liberal till the party lost me. I love that, and then they go hardcore on the other side.
And it's weird because then everything shifts. It's not just a couple of views; it's everything to be in alignment with the other side.
Yeah, they join a church. Yep, they stop doing drugs.